Today the fly I'll be tying is my version of a Mayfly emerger. Here it is in the vise. I found it quite successful in flat calm conditions when the Mayfly's hatching. And we'll show you how I tie it. The hook I'll be using is a Camazam B170 size 8. There it is in the vise. The thread I'll be using is a Uni 80 in red. Just put that on to start. Just like the vise on the second. Now, the next thing we're going to use is just a bit of brown floss. This is quite thin, so I'll actually double this. Make it a little bit more substantial as a rib. Just double it and quickly tie that in. Right. Next thing we're going to do is put on a little bit of raffia, natural raffia. Now, raffia is very brittle unless you keep it moistened. And I find when I'm tying with it, just wet your fingers and run it through your fingers, that'll do. And we'll just hold them out of the way for a second. Find that in all the way down. Now the next thing we're going to use is a bit of pheasant tail. Now the Mayfly only has 3 tails, but pheasant tail can be brittle, so it can break off quite easily. So I always put in at least half a dozen. Trout can't count. There we are. That's that in. And the next thing we're going to do is Glow Bright number 4 floss, and we're going to use that as an underbody. And we just hook that in. And then we'll bind that down all the way up to the thorax. Here we are. Now we're probably leaving 5 or 6 mil just for the thorax there. Just trim that bit away. Now, to make things a bit easier, we're going to remove the tying thread, so we'll put a quick whip finish in there, and we can cut that away. This is why the Glow Bright is on a bobbin holder, because we're going to put a nice even body of Glow Bright down there, all the way up to the thorax, and probably just a little bit beyond, getting everything down, and we'll whip finish that as well. And then we'll be able to cut that out like so, and put the tying thread back on. Now, because of the whip finishes and there's no varnish, I would suggest you put the tying thread over the top of the Glow Bright whip finish, like so. Now we're going to take the raffia, again moisten it so it won't rip apart. And we're going to do touching turns, try not to overlap. As you can see, the red of the Glow Bright is shining through the raffia when it's wet. Keep it nice and moist. There we are. Let's tie that off. Trim away. Now we take the floss, just twist it up, because we've doubled it, we need to twist it a little. And that gives us a nicer, slightly thicker, flatter floss ribbed in. Yeah, and we'll tie that off there. Trim away. And I'm just going to bulk up the thorax a little, go down towards the eye and back up. Just going to give us a slightly more even, more level body for the next stage then. And for this stage, a little bit of wax on. The next stage is CDC feathers, and I've already selected. All I'm going to do is stack them now. Make sure the tips are touching, and I'm going to do. These are golden olive seals, golden olive CDC feathers, and there's a pale pink one as well. And what I've done is I've stacked 2 golden olive, then the pink, and then 1 more golden olive. You'll see it now in a second. Offer it up on top, slide into place. Got the loose turns just to hold to start, then we can bind that down and we're happy with it. And back up. We have 1 golden olive, 2 golden olive, pale pink, and a 3rd golden olive. Then we're going to take some natural Mayfly coloured seal's fur, which is here. This is a product by Frankie McPhillips, this seal's fur. And we'll just bind that in. There we are. Now just fold all the CDC forward, forming a loop. There's that. We're just going to try and hold that in place. It can be quite a large loop at this stage. Just 2 loose turns. See, now that loop is too big, so just lift it up and it'll slide forward for you. So what I'm looking for. Yeah, just tighten that. That's better. 2 or 3 tighter turns now to lock in place, and we can trim away. Just a bit of wax and tidy up at the head a second. There we are. Okay, now you could have put a hackle on to form the legs, the head there, but I think a hackle breaks the surface and allows the flay to sink a little. So what I prefer to do is just take some small bits, basically offcuts of pheasant tail, cut pheasant tail, and just tie them down either side the shank. And again, if you just put them in with a couple of light, loose turns, you can adjust them. That seems a bit high, that side. Just give them a twist. There we are. Tighten down. Looks alright. Trim off. Just tidy up again. And then we're finished. There we go. Tug down, make sure it's bedded in. Now let's just have one last look. Bit of seals for pheasant tails riding up a bit there. Just use your nail. Push it down a bit. That's better. Then we can put a bit of varnish on. A couple of coats of varnish. Then you want a nice day with plenty of mayfly. There we are. And that is my emerging mayfly. Now, if you can see the red comes through the raffia, like blood being pumped around as the fly's about to hatch. It also makes a very good target for the trout. Here we are, my emerging mayfly. Thanks for watching.